Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So very recently, Pacifica launched a whole bunch of new makeup products, including a new foundation and concealer. I saw the foundation and concealer teased on the Pacifica Instagram a little while ago, and as soon as I figured out what was going on, I knew I had to try it out for you guys. And when I went to order the foundation and concealer, I found that they'd also launched an eyeliner and a blush, bronzer, and highlight palette. So I wanted to try those out for you guys as well to give you my thoughts on them. I'm gonna go ahead and show you a demo of me using all the products while I talk about them, except for the eyeliner. I did apply the eyeliner, I'm wearing it currently, and the problem I had with trying to film me applying the eyeliner is I'm really bad at applying eyeliner. So what that means is that I have to get super close to my mirror and basically rest my elbow on a steady surface like a table in order to actually do eyeliner, because I am so unsteady and so bad at drawing that is the only way I can do it. And basically what that meant was while I was filming, you couldn't really see me applying the eyeliner. So I'm going to tell you about it. I am currently wearing it, but I'm not going to show you me applying it for that reason. So we're gonna go in the order that I put on my makeup. So first off, we're going to start with this foundation. And this is called the Alight Clean Foundation. All these products are vegan and cruelty-free. This foundation is oil-free, anti-shine, and a satin finish. And I'm really impressed by the packaging of this foundation. It is a glass packaging, so it does have a nice weight to it. And it comes with a pump. And it comes with this gold cap. So what impressed me about this foundation first off is that it comes in 30 shades. Yes, you heard me, 30. And it looks like it goes to fairly deep shades and it goes all the way up to super fair. And I have never in non-toxic beauty had this many shades of foundation to choose from. In fact, it's a little overwhelming and difficult to find a shade because there are multiple fair shades, and I picked up 2 of them. The one that I found was my correct shade was 38 NF, so it's 38 neutral fair. There is a 40 neutral fair, which was shockingly too light for me. So if you are even fairer than I am, there is a 40 NF shade, which is super fair. But the one I do use is 38 NF. You can judge while I'm applying it, but I think this might be the first foundation that is actually truly my shade match. I don't think I've ever found a foundation that matches me as well as this foundation. And I think that is a testament to having a variety of different shades. So they have 30 shades and they have a variety of different undertones. If you're struggling to find a foundation shade in non-toxic, vegan, cruelty-free beauty, this would be my first one I would go look at because this is the widest shade range that I've seen. Okay, also what's impressive about this foundation is the price point. It is, get ready for this, $16. Yeah, that's it, $16. And right now it's only being sold at Ulta, so the only place you can get it is Ulta. None of my local Ulta stores carried it, so I had to order it online. But I believe they said they are going to be eventually launching at Target and on the Pacifica website, but right now it's just at Ulta. I've noticed Pacifica has been doing this recently where they will launch some products at some retailers but not other retailers. So they'll launch some products just at Target, some products just at Ulta, but this one is available only at Ulta, at least for the time being. So if you're looking for it, that's where you're gonna have to go. This foundation, I like to apply it with a brush, and that is my typical method of applying a foundation, and I find it works really well. I like how it applies, it's not streaky, I'm able to get it blended out really well. What's interesting about this foundation though is it is a thick foundation. I talked about in my 100% pure water foundation video that one's kind of like a puffy foundation. It's not runny, but it's kind of airy. It's an interesting consistency. This one is definitely a thicker consistency. And when I first squirted it out and applied it on my face the first time, I thought for sure that it was going to be heavy and I was gonna feel it sitting on my skin, but it's actually lightweight, even though it is a thicker foundation. And out of all the non-toxic, cruelty-free foundations I've tried, I believe this one may be the most full coverage I've encountered. It really covers up pretty much everything. Yes, I do a little bit of spot concealing, but there wasn't much that I actually needed to conceal. Like, this foundation really does cover things up. So if you're looking for that very full coverage foundation, this is an amazing option. And the finish of this is very interesting. It is definitely not a dewy foundation. My Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation is definitely a more dewy foundation than this one, but it's not as matte as the 100% Pure Water foundation. It's kind of in the middle between the two. I really like it. Like I keep saying over and over again, it is winter right now. It is New England. I'm wearing a sweater. And so even though I have oily, acne-prone skin, my skin can get a little bit dry during the winter just because it's cold. When I go outside, it's windy, wind's blowing on my face. When I'm inside, there's dry heat running. So all that combined can lead to my skin getting a little bit dry. I have found that this finish is really beautiful. I've had this on actually for a couple hours. I filmed the first part of the video, had to go do some things, and I'm now coming back to film the review part. So you saw the application of the foundation a few hours earlier, almost 4 hours ago. So I've had this foundation on for about 4 hours, which is kind of good because the little mini wear test. It just looks good. And yes, it's a little smidge dry when I first put it on, but it doesn't look bad. I don't know if that makes sense. It's a little matte, but it doesn't look overly dry. And one thing that I really appreciate about this foundation is it does not settle into my fine lines on my forehead. So I mentioned that with the 100% Pure Water foundation, that foundation tends to just kind of go into my fine lines. When I realized how kind of more matte this foundation was, I thought it was going to do the exact same thing, but it doesn't. And I kind of love it for that. No one really wants their fine lines accentuated, and for me, this foundation does not do that. In fact, I think it may be one of the best foundations I have for not accentuating my fine lines. Even throughout the day, it doesn't settle into them either. So it's pretty good. I've been testing this out for a while now, and I honestly really like it. I did not have high hopes for this foundation. I've tried out some other products from Pacifica in the past. I've had issues with shades, just like consistency, coverage, just you name it, I have not liked it. But I have really liked this foundation. Like, it has definitely moved into my top foundation category. And I am planning on doing a video soon where I kind of round up my favorite foundations, because I feel like I keep referencing like my Ilia True Skin foundation or the 100% Water foundation or the Au Natural Stick foundation. And I keep referencing my favorite foundations, but I really want to do a video kind of comparing all of them, maybe showing demos of me applying them just so you can see coverage and everything like that. What I have to say about this one is I am really, really impressed. Like, it wears incredibly well throughout the day. This may be the best foundation in terms of long wearingness on me. Like I said, I have oily skin, and my oily skin tends to break apart foundations, tends to kind of melt them off, move things around. But this one, yeah, it gets, like, you can see I'll get like some natural kind of dewiness, a little bit of natural glow throughout the day from the oil, but things are not breaking apart. And I wore this foundation yesterday. I went up to Boston and I put it on around like 9:30, 10 a.m. and I did not get home until 8 p.m. So I had 10, 11 hour day. And I looked in the mirror at the end of the night and was just shocked by how good everything still looked. Yes, I was a little bit more dewy. Yes, things weren't as perfect as when I left in the morning. Like, things were kind of breaking apart. I was losing a little bit of coverage on my nose. But overall, I was shocked by how well this performed. Even when I used conventional beauty products, I really was not finding foundations that were lasting as well on me as this one is. So I'm kind of mind blown. The one thing you have to keep in mind if you are an ingredient purist, Pacifica does not have the same, I guess, quality of ingredients you could say as something like the 100% Pure Water foundation. And that's something you have to figure out for yourself. Like, what are you okay with? What are you not okay with? Pacifica is cruelty-free. It's vegan. It doesn't contain silicones, formaldehyde, phthalates, mineral oil, parabens, petroleum. Like, overall, it is a much cleaner ingredient list, but it's not going to be the same thing as the 100% pure foundations. But it also is at a lower price point. It also has a wider shade range. It's also more easily accessible. So I really do like it. I'm trying to think about if I like this one or my Ilia more. I guess the Ilia is dewier, so it kind of depends on what you want. If you want something a little bit dewier, like, it's hard to beat the Ilia True Skin, but this one is for being a bit more of a matte foundation, it's really good because it's not too matte. It doesn't accentuate your dry skin. If you do have more dry skin, I would definitely recommend doing like a moisturizer underneath the foundation or some sort of face oil. I'm always a big fan of, even for me and my oily skin, putting on some sort of moisturizer before applying my foundation. I just think it really helps. I really like the foundation. It's moved into being one of my top foundations, and it's definitely one that I will continue to reach for. And you'll be seeing it a lot. The next product that I tried out was their new concealer. And this is their full coverage, long lasting liquid cover concealer. So it's got similar packaging to the foundation, but the foundation packaging is nicer. Like, this is glass and this is plastic. Like, there's a weight difference between the two. I honestly wish that they had done like a small glass packaging for the concealer. It just would have been a little bit nicer because the foundation bottle is so nice that the concealer feels a little cheap next to it. I really like the lid on it. It's got this gold with this kind of geometric design, and then it does have a doe foot applicator. The shade I have in the concealer is 20 NF, so 20 neutral fair. There are 12 shades of concealer and it costs $13. And once again, this is only available at Ulta currently. So I used the concealer under my eyes and I also did some spot concealing with it. I feel like recently I've kind of found a lot of really good concealers. Like, they kind of just all came to me at once. Like, I have the Fit Glow concealer that I love. I have the Han Skincare Cosmetics concealer that I love. And now I have this one moving into that category as well. The one thing I have to say though is, for having 30 shades of foundation, they do need a few more concealer shades because the foundation goes extremely fair. Like I said, the lightest shade of the foundation is actually too light for me. And that's where my problem comes in. This concealer, you'll see when I'm applying it, it matches my foundation. Like, everything looks blended together here. Like, my under eye kind of matches everything else, but it's not brightening. And that is one thing that I keep going back to the Fit Glow concealer and talking about that one, because the shade C1 is light enough that it is brightening on me. Whereas this concealer needs like one shade lighter. So this is 20 NF, so they need like a 22 NF or a 24 NF. With the Pacifica numbering, the higher the number, the lighter the shade. So like the shade like 2 would be a very deep shade, whereas the shade like 20 is a light shade. That would be my recommendation to Pacifica if they're watching. You need to go a little bit lighter in the concealer, especially because a lot of people do, like me, do like to brighten under the eyes of the concealer, and in order to do that, you want a shade just like a smidge lighter than your skin tone. This works perfectly for concealing like acne spots because it does blend very well with the foundation. I imagine that no matter what your skin tone, you may have an issue finding the correct shade of concealer, because yes, there are 12 shades, but there are 30 shades of the foundation. So there are definitely a lot of shades that are not going to have a corresponding concealer shade. How I like to apply this concealer is I like to take the doe foot, dab a little bit under my eye, and then blend it out with my finger. I think the Fit Glow concealer is a little bit more full coverage. It also might be that because it is lighter, it brightens, and so it gives an optical illusion of it covering more. But I do really like this concealer. It definitely reminds me a lot of the Han Skincare Cosmetics concealer. They're kind of neck and neck to me. In terms of coverage, they're very reminiscent of each other. Also in terms of long wearingness, they dry down very similarly. I like to set them using the 14E Prime and Set powder. This has really become my staple face powder. All I do is I just dust it under my eyes with a setting brush, and that's it, and it's set. For $13, it's hard to beat. So it also has moved into my favorite concealer category. When I want to conceal acne spots, what I'll do is I'll dab a little bit of the concealer onto my finger using the doe foot, and then kind of dab it onto the spots that need it. But the foundation is so good, and the coverage on the foundation is so great that I really don't need to do much spot concealing, which I'm fine with. That speeds things up in the morning for me. If I can get my foundation to really cover almost everything and I don't need to do much concealing, I basically have eliminated a step out of my routine, which I'm fine with. I really like the concealer. I'm going to move on now to the blush and bronzer palette. So this is the Radiance Powders palette, and I don't entirely know why I purchased this. I saw it and was just like, oh yeah, I'll try it out. I do like the packaging. The packaging is kind of cool. It's like this purple holographic packaging with the geometric designs. I feel like their products are coordinating pretty nicely. I saw that Pacifica also came out with a new eyeshadow palette and a new like big eyeshadow and face palette. Honestly, the colors in both of those palettes just didn't scream to me. Like, I just was not excited looking at the shades, and so I decided to pass on those. I've tried a lot of eyeshadow palettes recently, and I've discovered a lot that I really love. And I was thinking, okay, if I'm looking at the shades and I don't really envision how I'm going to use them, that's probably not the best purchase for me to be making. So I went ahead and purchased this palette instead. Let me start by swatching everything. So I did use this palette on me today. So I took the Sunset Matte Blush, which is up on top, and applied it as my blush. And then I took the Desert Matte Bronzer and used that as a bronzer. I used the shade here, the Glimmer Shimmer, as my highlight. And then I didn't use today the Rose Gold Shimmer. This Rose Gold Shimmer is too deep, obviously, for me to use as a highlight shade, but I think the purpose of that shade in this palette is so that you could use it like as a blush topper to make the matte blush more of a shimmery blush. Because if you notice, these two shades coordinate pretty well. So I actually kind of like that. It's kind of a cool idea. You can customize your blush instead of having just a purely matte blush or a blush with some shimmer in it. You can kind of pick which one you want by mixing these two. The blush, I did build up the pigment here, but on first swatch, it's not a super pigmented blush, but I honestly like that in powdered blushes. The more I've come to deal with powdered blushes, the more I actually have realized that I don't like really pigmented powdered blushes because I have super fair skin and they can tend to get way too built up and too colorful too quickly. But I do like this one because it's a nice tone too. It's a pretty peachy shade and it does build up. Is it the most long wearing blush on me? No, but it does its job pretty well and I really don't have any major complaints. I would like for it to last a little longer, but it's not completely gone at the end of the day, but it does definitely fade on me. This bronzer I'm actually surprised by because I actually like this bronzer. It is a very good shade for me and my fair skin. I have issues with bronzers being too red or too orange, and this one is just a very nice bronzy shade. I have it on today. I applied it to the back of my cheekbones and then around the top of my forehead. So I do really like this and it blends out well. The highlight is actually pretty beaming. When I first saw it in the pan, I thought it was gonna be too dark on me, but you can see it here. I think it looks pretty good. Even when I look straight on, if you're wearing a highlight shade that's too deep for your skin tone and you're looking directly in at a mirror, you can kind of like see a dark streak on your cheeks, but this one I really don't see it. And it does reflect the light really nicely when I turn my head. This one caught me by surprise, but I do like it. And as I mentioned before, for me at least, you really have to use this shade as a blush topper. I can't use it as a highlight. That being said, I feel like this palette is very fair light skin friendly and not friendly for deeper skin tones. They unfortunately didn't have different versions of this palette for different skin tones, and I feel like they really needed to do that because this bronzer is not going to bronze many people. Like, you have to have pretty fair skin to use this as a bronzer, and the blush, same thing as well. The highlight shades are more friendly for a little bit deeper skin tones. But I feel like what would have been nice would be to have this palette and have like a couple shade versions of it. One for fair skin and one for a little bit deeper skin tones. And these are the Alighten Radiance powders. So I think they're part of that whole Alighten line. So this is part of the new launch with the foundation and concealer. This palette is $18, which is actually very interesting to me because that actually costs more than the foundation, which I feel like it's a bit weird in terms of pricing. I would have liked to have seen this at a little bit lower price point, but I do like it. I definitely could see myself traveling with it. Yes, it's a little long, but it's pretty thin, and I really like that it has all the powder products that I need. Like, I have my blush, bronzer, and highlight all in one palette. So I think if you travel a lot, this could be a really nice palette to travel with. So even though it is cardboard packaging, it does have a magnetic closure to it. It's not like the best magnet I've seen. I can feel the magnet in there, so it will hold it shut for you. A little expensive, but actually a pretty good product. The final product I'm going to be talking about, when I bought it, I was like, Kat, why did you buy this? You don't even wear eyeliner. But I saw it and was just like, I need to try this. So this is a felt tip eyeliner and it's black and it has gold writing that says Pacifica on it. And I was surprised by how small this thing is. Like, it's actually kind of nice because it's quite small. Here's my PYT Beauty Brow Pencil for comparison, and here is the Pacifica eyeliner. It's thinner and shorter as well. It's just kind of nice and compact. It is a felt tip pen. Everyone has different thoughts about what type of tip on an eyeliner is the easiest to apply eyeliner with, but for me, this one's pretty darn good. The tip on this is super fine, and even though I'm not the best eyeliner applier ever, when you have a really fine tip like that, it gives you a lot of control. So I really liked it. I liked how the eyeliner wore on me as well. I wore it to Boston yesterday and I didn't have issues with it bleeding, smudging, flaking, none of that. It really did stay in place well. This eyeliner pen was only $10, which this I think is a very good deal. And even though I don't like eyeliner, it made it so easy to apply it that it makes me more open to applying it. And I think the price is great as well. So if you want to play around with eyeliner and you're not an eyeliner expert and you don't want to invest in the Well Pupil Expressionist eyeliner, this one's a great option. And I honestly think it was easier to work with than the Well Pupil. I've been using the Well Pupil for a while now. That's the only eyeliner that I had prior to purchasing this one. But I think this one's just easier to work with because the tip is so fine. And it's kind of nice because you don't have to like keep dipping it into the pot. It just all comes out. I don't know the answer to this question. I have no idea how long it will be before it dries out or before it runs out. But for $10, it's something that you could repurchase and not feel too guilty about. Honestly, I kind of liked everything I tried, and I'm really excited because, like I said, I tried out a number of Pacifica products, hadn't been fully in love with them, and I'm really excited to see Pacifica launching these products and launching products that are high performing, that are non-toxic, cruelty-free, vegan, that are at a good price point, that are available at Ulta. Like, it's really checking a lot of boxes, and I'm really excited. Out of the 4, if you had to go try one thing, definitely I have to say the foundation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I'm really curious if you guys try out the foundation and concealer. Do you like it as much as I do? I'm really excited. Really glad to have this option available at Ulta and at a very affordable price, and have a wider shade range. The more shades, the better, although I feel like I'm gonna have to start learning better how to match my foundation because I'm just used to trying to take the lightest shade and blend it down my neck and just trying to make it kind of work. So it's really weird to me to actually have foundations that are the right shade. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also check out my Instagram. My handle's at naturallybeautifulgirl. I have lots of other fun, non-toxic beauty content on there. And also be sure to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers before May, so go hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to be notified of when I post new videos, be sure to hit the bell buttons so that you'll be notified. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!